Hey everyone, it's Game Camilla here, back at you with another video. And today's video is going to be a little bit more relaxed this week. So today we're going to talk about Immortals Fenyx Rising, and is it worth playing on the Nintendo Switch? Now, first of all, before we get into the heart of the matter here, I want to apologize for last week. I wasn't able to really upload any videos. For those that follow me on Twitter, and those that are a member of the Kaiju Club Discord, you know that I had one heck of a busy week last week. Not only that, I had to prepare for the marathon stream that I did on Twitch on Saturday, so I was a bit tapped out on time, and I just didn't have it in the cards this last week. That's alright. This week, I should be back in the saddle. With all intents, I meant to do a review video for Immortals Fenyx Rising last week, but we're a little bit far out. Came on in the 3rd, it's the 15th now that I'm recording this morning. I think a full review maybe would not be the best thing at the moment, because I was thinking about it this morning. You know, I'm putting together the video, and I was like, hard stop. It's like, I think what people really need to know is it worth playing, or is it not? And there's a lot of people who feel, without really knowing much about the game, that it is a hard no. I think the opposite. I think it's definitely worth playing. I think it's one that people are sleeping on. Now, I will alert everyone that I did get a key for the Switch version through Ubisoft for purposes of review and streaming on Twitch. But as always, my opinions are my own, and guys, you know that if I don't like something, that I'm pretty honest about my opinion and not afraid to share it. And I think there's a lot of good things about Fenyx Rising, and I think there's a few things that they probably could have worked on, and a few things that didn't end up in their favor. But anyway, is it worth playing? And again, the short answer is yes. But the reasoning behind that for me is I find that the game has a lot of charm to it. The best part about the game definitely is the story, definitely is the characters. There is a lot of funny moments, but as you play the game really becomes its own. I really like the combat system. I really like the environment. There's a lot of comparisons for the game to Breath of the Wild, and it's obvious. I mean, they've even, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's very. If you like Breath of the Wild, you'll like Fenyx Rising. And it's true to a point. But Fenyx Rising definitely does have its own feel the more you go to it. As you gain abilities, as you unlock stuff, you notice that the stamina system really ties into that abilities. Like hammers, throwing arrows, shooting. I do like the arrow mechanic in the game much better than Breath of the Wild, I will say that. So stamina is really adamant, whereas like Breath of the Wild, the Sheikah skate, or the Sheikah tablet, whatever it's called, it has its own abilities separate from stamina in the game. So there's differences there. The big difference that I find is the environments are a lot more filled. They have a lot of verticality to the levels. There's a lot of secret nooks and crannies. It doesn't feel so not necessarily knocking Breath of the Wild, because it is a game that came out close to 4 years ago. It is a game that feels a bit open and bare at times. I mean, it works. But, 3 years later, that doesn't necessarily work now. And I find that Fenyx Rising's environments are a lot more, I guess, intense in terms of everything around. And I welcome that. And it does hold up on the Switch. And I'll dive into some Switch comparisons to the other consoles and PC here in a moment. But I generally find the game pretty addictive. I do like the fact that you can go at any high point and press in right on the control stick and just look around, and you'll feel the vibration into the controller. And I have a Pro controller, and you can feel the motion sensing there, and you just hit a button and boom, there's a point there. it does a little bit take away from the wonder of it. I mean, in one way, it's very respectful of your time because boom, there's a thing, go find it. In another way, it's a little bit takes away from that secret exploring aspect of the game where maybe I'm a little bit of an old school mindset where, you know, I'm used to just trying to find it on my own and, oh, there's a chest, or there's a secret nook. Whereas in this game, it kind of pushes the fact that, you know, you can look in any direction. It could be a brick wall, and if there's something on the other side of it, you can sense it and add it to your map. That can be both a good thing and a bad thing. It depends on how you take it. For some people, again, time is of the essence, especially in an open world game. It does help. For me, I'm a little bit just on the fence. I don't overly like it, but I don't hate it. I do like the fact that as you gain abilities, you can break some of these puzzles. Kind of like what they've done in Breath of the Wild, where people keep finding different solutions to things. As you gain abilities, you can, like, hey, you don't need that boulder or block. You can just grab a boulder down the road and just, there you go, hits the switch and boom, there's your prize kind of thing. There's a little bit more advanced ones than that, but as you go, you definitely have more abilities to solve certain puzzles. And that extends a little bit to the vaults, not so much as the open world. I experience it more in the open world where there's different things that you can do to solve a puzzle. But there's a couple vaults, I'll be honest, that I question, was it tested? And I would say about 98 to 99% of the vaults that I entered in, they're pretty solid, no issues. There's a couple vaults where I did like a little hard nope, and it was like, no, there's no way. There's no way you tested this. And I know that they're working on a couple of solutions to those vaults. There was a weekly challenge week 1 when it came out, and the vault that I played, I attempted it like 10 times, and it was like, no, this is stupid. Wondering, you know, about a couple of things. Most of the vault designs are really, really nice, if a little generic. I do appreciate some vaults where they get really creative. Not spoiling too much here, but the more you try to explore the game, you'll definitely come across those. There's a couple glitches that I've encountered in the game which they have squashed recently, involving a few vaults where certain things didn't trigger, or a couple things didn't trigger in the overworld. But those are kind of, most of those have been solved already. There's a couple of them are still floating around, but they've been really adamant about patching the game really quickly. But most of the game has been really solid for an open world game, especially in 2020. Definitely has a lot less issues than compared to other ones. But overall, I think it's definitely has a lot of charm. I think it's definitely worth playing. I do appreciate the content of it, where it's not like the typical shooter open world game is about Olympic gods, and there's been a lot of fun with it that I've had. Now, the question here is it good on the Switch? And the answer is, it most certainly is. While it's not as high def as his PS5, Xbox Series X, PC brethren, it actually, for a third-party Switch, it's probably in the top tier as far as running really well. The frame rate's pretty solid. There's actually some decent draw distance, some pretty good draw distance for a Switch game, for as many things are being rendered on the map at a time. And I think it's a beautiful game on the Switch. And handheld mode holds up really well too. You can see a couple of things that they've done to kind of make it a little bit more optimized for the handheld, but for Switch Lite users, you don't have to worry. You'll get an excellent game for your handheld, which is far better than a recent game that I reviewed, Jurassic Park World Evolution Complete Edition, where on the docked version of the Switch, it ran pretty decent, and on the handheld, it ran like utter shit. No other way to say it. It's horrendous on handheld mode. If you have a Switch Lite, don't buy that game. There's just no other way to put it. And they haven't really done anything in terms of patching that I know of, at least of the middle of December, to to fix it, so there you go. So it runs really good. I feel like if you played Breath of the Wild, I think you'll have a lot of fun with this game. I feel like some people are comparing the game to Breath of the Wild like it's a bad thing. Why wouldn't you try to take some inspiration from Breath of the Wild? It is the most successful Zelda game in the franchise. It is my favorite 3D Zelda game, though Wind Waker's like right on the doorstep there. Wind Waker HD, please, on the Switch, please. 2021. But I definitely think it's worth it. Look, it's a year coming out. We're probably a year away from Breath of the Wild 2. There's definitely some improvements that I see in this game compared to Breath of the Wild. But more importantly, yes, it shares certain things from it, but it is its own game. And I feel like if you have the opinion like it's a Breath of the Wild clone and that is it, I think you're really missing out. I think you really need to check the game out. You're looking for a good open world game on the Switch. I mean, how many open world games are there on the Switch that's actually worth playing? I can only think of two, of Breath of the Wild and Fenyx Rising. That's it. Now, if there's another one, throw it out there, but it's definitely there. It's a little bit more competition on the major systems, but even then, I think because of the subject matter, because of the general funniness of it, I think it's a good, mostly family-friendly game. I love the style of it. I love the funniness of it. If you're looking to get a game for someone that is a little bit, not super young, but obviously, you know, maybe early teens and that, and you're not trying to get another shooter game, I think it's definitely worth getting. It's just far too few family-friendly games on third-party systems these days, or on PS4 and PS5 and Xbox. Anyway, I wanted to share my thoughts with it. It's a little bit, again, this video is a little bit loose. I didn't want it to go too long here. I just wanted to share some thoughts on Immortals Fenyx Rising. I've had a lot of fun with it. I've probably put over 40 hours in the game so far. I've had a blast. I think that if you're looking for a good third-party game on the Switch, it's definitely worth checking out. But with that said, guys, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, consider subscribing. I do 2 videos a week. There should be another video coming this week. Also, check me out on Twitch. Links in the description box below, as well as the Kaiju Club Discord, which is growing. It's going to be awesome 2021, guys. We got a few more videos to come out this year. Stay safe, have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time.